Let me warn you, if you're the typical Fox News crowd, Tucker Carlson crowd, the usual suspects, turn this off, move, go someplace else. You're not going to like anything that I'm going to tell you. But let me bring you up to a few little instances of reality. Number one, debates. What did they matter? Nothing. Nothing. Nobody ever won an election because of a debate. It doesn't work. It's all. The only one who benefited from that debate last night was Fox News. And they desperately need something because the Fox News that you see right now is like a star that burnt out a million years ago, but the light hasn't hit you yet. It's over. It's done. Ailes is through. I mean, just if you can stomach 5 minutes of that morning show, good for you. I can't. In fact, if I ever ingest poison and you bring me to an emergency room and they don't have syrup or Vipicac, just play the Fox and Friends, whatever that morning dreck is, especially one of those town hall things, and I will be spewing like Vesuvius in the Emesis Basin, okay? Next, so that you know this, I want, which won't happen, but I want Donald Trump to be the next president as a purgative, laxative, as chemotherapy, radiation, as a shock treatment. He is the only thing to shock this country back, to reset it back. We're in some kind of a weird psychic arrhythmia after 4 years of this radical left lunacy with what's his name. So just so that you know this, many of you watching were kind of on the same page politically, but for different reasons. Next, Gavin Newsom is going to be the next president. Now, here's what's going to happen. First of all, he said, I'm not going to be the nominee. Now, what he's going to do is there's a parenthesis, or parenthesis, just half of it, okay? And what it means is simply this. He's going to say, when I made that promise, I said I will not actively pursue the nomination. However, when my party needs me, when Joe Biden gets his third bout of Coveroni Omicron 3 or hits his head or something happens and lo and behold, there's an absence, guess who's going to be front and center? Gavin Newsom. So don't think you're going to hold him to it. Don't think you're going to say, wait a minute, you promised. You promised, okay? Okay. Now, next, Ron DeSantis needs more than anything else, not intelligence. He's a very smart guy, very able. He's very good. In fact, what Newsom should do is say, use the line that, Florida needs you. You're a great, great governor. Please don't abandon the great people, by the way, my home state. Don't do this. Something like that, but you're not president material. Newsom should have also said, that's great. You have a poop map or a poop plotting system. But for you, I need a BS pod. Because never forget one thing. Everybody loves a good poop joke. That's what that was. That will forever stick in the minds of Americans. Why? Because Americans don't know anything. Next, I don't care what you think. I don't care what you believe. I don't care what you like. You always have to look at either a debate or results in terms of what the audience is going to think. Think of McNamara during the Vietnam War. Think of when he said, be empathic. Look to what your enemy thinks. Don't always sit there and say, well, I agree with it. I think, gruesome, Newsom, new scum, whatever your little play on words is. I since I don't like him, nobody else will. It doesn't work like that. There was a moment, which was the most critical, where Gavin Newsom said basically, and I posted it on my X, Twitter, whatever it's called this week, something where we can't roll back to the 60s. We can't roll back LGBTQ rights and women's. Watch that. That was the most important language to the kind of undecided person who was afraid of a Trump redux, who doesn't really know, DeSantis but who kind of wants a reason not to go Republican. That's the one thing that Republicans need to change. They need a worldview. And by the way, President Trump should be on a video every single day. Not social media, not Truth Social, not one of his all caps kind of screeds. No. He needs to provide a steady dose of worldview. Let me take you to the mountain, the way Ronald Reagan did it. Let me give you a vision. Let me tell you why this is important. Let me explain to you what we need to do. And another thing, too, which is very, very sad. Ron DeSantis has to work, believe it or not, on his countenance, his visage, his voice. And coming from somebody who has this Robert Merrill stentorian baritone, I can tell you how important voice is. Years ago, people in theater, and television used to, acquired the mid-Atlantic accent. This is what people in prep schools learned. And it was an acquired way of speaking, and it conveyed this notion of sophistication. It was all, Arlene Francis, yes, darling. Hello, yes, darling. And they all talk like that. What was that? Well, it's a mid-Atlantic accent. It's between halfway across the Atlantic from New York to London. He has to work on a lot of presentation skills. Newsom has to work on some other things too, acting more gravitas, less laughing, less giggling. Learn to ignore. Now here's the final one. The Republican Party hates Trump. You know it and I know it. And they would much rather deal with 4 more years of a Biden-esque candidate than another Trump, because Trump is their worst nightmare. That's why I love the guy. It's not what you think. But he is the anti-Republican, the anti-candidate, okay. You will never hear anything from the GOP saying what they're going to do to ensure that the election is not stolen, to ensure that the vote is maintained. Never. You're never going to do this. You're never. So today, when you're listening to all of this, stuff about who won, nobody won. Fox News won. This is a relic of some time gone by. And you're missing the point of this. With 330 whatever days to the election, we're beyond crunch time. It's already done. And what you have to understand more than anything else is that Gavin Newsom is going to be the next president. Not because I want him to be, not because he's earned it. He will be. And he might get it on his own. And if he doesn't, and if there's any voter irregularities, even the great Dinesh D'Souza with another documentary won't be able to help it. No lawyer is ever going to be anywhere in the Sidney Powell school of releasing the Kraken. Nobody's going to want to get near that. Nobody's going to want to get near the election denier label. And that was the purpose of that, to forever forge into the American psyche, just like they've convinced you that you should never be a conspiracy theorist. Okay? And I know you don't like this. You and I may very well be on the same page, but for different reasons. I'm a realist. I don't care about that's the way things should be. I'm convinced and care about the way things are. Okay? Now, if you want more of this brutal brilliance and naked truth, follow me and comment as you see fit.